Hey, Math 90, I'm back with section 3.1, which if you have the book, I'm on pages 178 and 179. And let me put that on here. We are going to be working with some different formulas. And I want to put the main ones down here in the notes. So if you need to go back and look at your notes when you're doing the Hawks homework, you can do that and you can find the formulas that will help you out. So the first one I think that is important, well, they're all important, but the ones that I want to emphasize, they're in the blue, dark blue box on the bottom of 178 and the top blue box on page 179. So I'm just going to go over a few of them. The first one is I equals P times R times T. So this is an interest formula. Let me write that down. And I is the amount of interest earned. P is your principal, or how much you're actually putting in the bank or saving the account, whatever. R is your rate of interest, so you might get 2%, 1%, 5%. And T is how long are you leaving your money in for, and that is measured in years. So you might leave the money in for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. The longer you leave it in, the more interest you're going to get. So that's the first formula I wanted to go over, and I want to make sure that everybody understands what each of these letters means, because that will really help you out when you go back and do the homework. Number 2 is D equals R times T. Now, you're going to be seeing this a lot in section 3.3, so I kind of want to go over it now so it won't be a surprise for you. So this is the distance formula. Where D is the distance traveled, and R is your rate of speed, so how fast are you going, and T is your time. Usually, did you drive for 4 hours? Did you drive for 5 hours? And like I said, R is your speed. How fast were you going? 30 miles an hour. And distance is how far you traveled. So like I said, you might not see that now, but it is definitely coming up in 3.3. Okay, this one isn't in the blue box, but I still think you should know it, and that is P equals 4 times S, and we use this to find the perimeter of a square. Okay. where S is one side of the square. And does everybody recall what perimeter is from Math 85, or if you didn't have Math 85? Perimeter is, let me write that on here, the distance all around the figure. So here we have a square, so all sides are equal on a square, so if we find one side, we know what each of the other three sides are. And perimeter is just adding up all around the square. So if you know one side of the square, you can multiply that by 4 and get the total perimeter. Okay, we good so far? I'm going to keep going. So we did the perimeter of a square. Next I'm going to do perimeter of a rectangle, and that is in the blue box. So this is number 4, and that's P equals 2L plus 2W. This is perimeter of a square. I'm sorry, of a rectangle. Holy moly. Okay. Where L is the length of a side and W is the width. And so we know what perimeter means. It means we want to add up, let me just draw it. So here's our rectangle, here's our length, and here's our widths. So to get the perimeter, you're going to add up all 4 sides, and the opposite sides are equal. So L just means the length of a side, W just means the width of a side. Perimeter, of course, is the distance all around the figure. Okay. Remember to stop and pause if you need to, if I'm going too fast. Let's see what's else. Okay, so here's another one, but this is with a triangle. So this is the perimeter. We use this formula to find the perimeter of a triangle. Okay. And A, B, and C are sides of the triangle. Okay, so here's a triangle. Whoops. And I'm just labeling these however. I mean, I could have put B here, A here. So this is side A, side B, side C. And again, if we want to find the perimeter, we're just going to add up all those sides. And I think the last one I'm going to do is also not in the blue box. It's circumference of a circle, which is equal to 2 times pi times r. Now circumference is similar to perimeter. It's measurement all the way around the circle. I know my circle's lumpy, but they want to know what's the distance all around that circle. We use circumference, and we use the formula C for circumference equals 2 times pi times r. And you can find pi on your calculator, and it is also located in the formula box of your Hawks homework. And 2 is just 2. R means the radius, and the radius is from the middle of the circle to the outer edge of the circle. So that's what they're talking about when you see R. And pi, I mean, it keeps going on and on and on. So I wouldn't worry about that. I would just know that it's on your calculator. I'm looking for it. Oh, it's right below the clear button. On your calculator. And like I said, it's also on your keypad. Okay. So those are the formulas. Let me stop, and I need you to get the handout that I have for this section, and you can find that under section 3.1. Make sure you get a copy of it, or just follow along with it as we're going over the problems. Okay, so next video will be, we'll finally start working the problems with the formulas.